Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to New York session. I hope you're doing well. So today is Friday, and I'm expecting a continuation to the downside on the dollar index. Okay, that means euro should be going up and pound should be going up, and New Zealand and Aussie are going to be also going up, but they might hold it for the weekend and then trade up going into next week. Okay, they might hold it and then trade up into next week. So that means they're going to move the crosses. Okay, but I would prefer we look at it going into next week. That would be the best. Okay. Sometimes today it can move. Okay. Now let me say it this way. If this New York session creates a gap on the M15, when it's 2 or from 2 p.m. going, highlight that one, and then if they come back to it, great, you can use it for a trade. If they don't, then place a buy limit for next week. Okay, don't chase the price action that's happening now. Okay, don't chase the price action that's happening now. What is happening now is basically a confirmation that we are going to continue going, because this whole move to the downside was a pullback, right? So we are going to get a confirmation that we are going up. Hence, wait for the confirmation that we are going back up during the session, and then you can look for the buy. Okay, with that said, gold should also go back up. So gold similar, wait for the confirmation, and then because I think all of that was a pullback, we will resume going back up. So wait for the confirmation, and then you can look for a trade idea on gold as well during the New York session. I think after this candle closes, this down candle will become an order block, highly probable order block, and you can use that. Or they might leave a fair value gap, and you can use that. Apart from that, crude oil, we're gonna continue going down. It did a perfect pullback, classic move back up, and then a continuation to the downside. Now, yesterday I did talk about something, and I want to add to it. It's just happening. It just happened on crude oil, and I want to use that to expand on what I basically gave you yesterday. Okay, so yesterday I gave you the reason why we wait for price to give us a confirmation that we are going up or down, then we trade. Now I want to expand on that. Today is Friday. Okay, I'm not gonna do a long session giving you what price is gonna do and all that business, because the week is done, and yeah, we'll look forward to next week. But this is what I want you to do. Yesterday I said it in passing that there is a gap that will be left during the New York session. Every single week it happens. It can happen even twice on a pair, or it can happen once Now I want to add a filter to it so that you can use that filter to actually look for the high probability ones, because sometimes it can happen and it might be used as a reversal. Okay, sometimes it can happen, but it can be used as a reversal, and if you trade it, then you might get caught into the reversal. So you can use this filter. So on your 1 hour time frame, you are looking at the New York session, the time that I gave, 2 to 5, or 1400 to 1700. Okay, or this will be the 1400 candle, then we have the 1600 candle, 1500 candle, then you have the 1600 candle. These three, okay, not the 1700, but this 1600 will finish at 1659. Okay, 1659, which then the 1700 will start a new candle. Not that one. Okay, these three candles. These three candles can form a gap. Now that gap can be here or here. It's two levels, either the 1600 and then the 1400 candle. Within that will be a gap, or the 1300 and the 1500 candle will have a gap. One of these two. That is the one you're going to be paying attention to. Now what you're going to do with that is you're going to be placing a buy or sell limit in there. The filter that you need to use is go on the daily and see, did the daily close above the previous day? If the daily closed above the previous day, here inside this day, you want to see the New York session with 200, the 1400, 1500, 1600 candle, those three leaving some form of a gap. If that did happen, place a buy limit there, because the next day, the low of the day is highly probable it's going to happen here, and then they will expand up for the day. Okay, so it's a condition. Okay, it's a condition, a trading condition. If this meets this criteria, then place a buy limit. Don't worry about the time that price is gonna get there. That is irrelevant. You don't worry about the time it's gonna get there. Yours is to see it and place a limit. It's similar. I'm coming. I'm getting there. So I'm gonna spend time, talking about this today, and then I'll use just about a few minutes and then run through the crypto market, because like I said, we need the end of the month, so there's nothing really to talk about on the crypto. But this is condition number one, or the filter number one. The filter number two is if we take out a previous day's low. It can be an up candle, it can be a down candle, it doesn't really matter. We need to take out a previous candle's low and then a rejection. And within that rejection, the same scenario where New York session will print 3 up candles, leaving a gap behind. If we get that, then the same condition applies. The next day, the low of the day is likely gonna form inside this, so you can place a buy limit here and then expect expansion for the next day. It needs to take out a previous day's low first. If a previous day's low is not taken, or a previous day's high has not been closed above, don't do it. Okay, don't do it. So for example, you might get a previous day's high to be traded above like this, like this, and it will not close above the high, but it will have 1, 2, 3 candles giving you a fair value gap during the New York session. If this condition is there, like it took our previous day's high and still gave you that condition, that does not apply. You might end up probably being taken out. It might come for the low. So listen to the criteria properly and then do it that way. Okay, it needs to be closing or rejecting. That's it. And then the opposite is true for when you want to buy. If you want to buy, if you want to sell. If you want to sell, you're gonna be looking for a close. You're gonna be looking for a close below a previous candle's low. Okay, and then the same condition. Did the New York session leave the gap? If it did, place a sell limit in there and then forget about it for the next day. It might form the high of the day there and then drop down. Or did we just take out a previous day's high? So something similar like this, right? If we took out the previous day's high and price rejected and gave you a 3-bar candle during the New York session, place a sell limit in there and then expect price to go down. That's exactly what crude oil is doing right now. Okay, so if you go on to the daily, this condition meets what I'm talking about. So here we took out the previous day's high. Okay, now let me there. Okay, we took out the previous day's high and rejected, and during that rejection, if you look at the New York session, we had a gap here, right? So this is the one, this is the 2 o'clock, and then the 3 o'clock my time, and that left behind a gap. That's the one. So you're gonna place a sell limit in there. Now your stop loss can be above the candle, this candle here, the high of it, and then expect lower prices. With the targets, you can look for low to be taken or important gaps on the downside. So here, that's the most important gap on the downside, and then here. Okay, so that would be your downside objectives. Okay, so you wait, price is gonna come. It doesn't matter the time, you just place the sell limit and then sit and wait. Price will come there eventually and then it will move down, right? dollar index is doing something similar, right? So when you started the session, you saw me, I have that. It's doing something similar. We rejected the previous day's high. New York session did that. Place a sell limit in there, and then look for gaps on the downside, and then the lows. So here, and then there's a gap over here. And that's where price is going. Okay, so every single week it happens. Okay, every single week it happens at least once, one pair, right? I traded one of them on EuroCAD here. Okay, there, I think there was another one that happened. Let me see, was it dollar CAD? No. Which pair? Another pair did this week. Can't remember which one now. I'll have to find it. The one that I traded is the dollar CAD. Okay. And I'll bring your attention to it next time when it happens, because I've talked about it. I'll bring your attention to it, but the condition needs to be there. If the condition is not there, then you might not see a profitable trade. It might work, but the probability of it working might be low because it needs some condition to be met. And if that condition is not met, you might experience either a consolidation, price will come to the level and it will not move. Okay, it's something important. Okay, if it's not there, don't force it. All right. So yeah, you're looking for dollar index to continue going down. Now, for example, if today can close bearish, and between the 2, 3, 4, if it leaves a gap, Monday's high is likely gonna form in there. If we close below yesterday's low, if we close, let's say, if we close below here, if the candle, this candle, blue candle now, if it ends up being a black candle below this candle's low, and this New York session, we create 3 down candles, then the high of Monday is likely gonna form in there. So you can actually you can look forward for Monday to pull back into it and then expand down. All right, good. I think ES, if ES did have something like that, it didn't have it. You can see we don't have any gap in here. That's why I didn't pull back in there. We have small little one, but this down candle is acting as a breaker, so it's not going to allow price to come there. We have a breaker here, but going into next week, you can look for similar examples over here. So for example, if today closes below that, watch the New York session. Do we print continuous down candles? If it does, then you can get a trade. Now sometimes you will do it and you might get stopped out. I think here, I don't know why I'm speaking like that, but anyway, there was one that happened on the way up on Tuesday. So let me take Tuesday up, Tuesday price action. So this is Tuesday, right? Tuesday ended up closing bullish. New York session printed that 1, 2, 3, that one, and that one. Those are your levels, especially the first one. That's where you're gonna be placing your buy limit, because price will be manipulated down there and then expanded up, and that's what actually happened during the next day, right? Came here and then expanded up. Okay, and you can go and back test it and then see for yourself. Anyway, let's continue. So here, dollar index, we are looking for lower prices. Euro, higher prices. Pound, same thing. Now, I think by now, if you're here, I've managed to convince, I won't say convince you, you now understand why I place a lot of emphasis on the time of the day. Now, before, I didn't understand why. Okay, now if you're doing something and you don't understand why, you're always gonna have this you're gonna have this idea of being insecure. Okay, that is me. So the way the mind works, right, it works with conviction. Like if you're going to do something and you believe so much that there's nothing, there's no such thing as doubt in your mind. Okay, when you're doing that thing, you apply confidence, you apply I think the word is confident and discipline. But if what you're doing you don't understand, you don't know why, then you're gonna have doubt. Okay, you're gonna do it, you're gonna take the action, but you're gonna have doubt in your mind. Okay, so that's what happened when ICT talks about time of the day. Yes, there's the time, that's London, that's New York. Obviously we know that, but why? Without the why, it leaves doubt because it's not consistent. If you look at the price action, you might not see the reason why, because it's just time, but why and what is happening. Okay, when you understand the why and what is happening and the reason why it's happening, then that builds confidence, that builds the what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it builds the confidence that when I execute, I'll remove doubt from my head. Because when you have doubt in your head, you're actually projecting the experience you want to experience for it to confirm the doubt in your head. But when you are convinced with understanding, then you're going to project what you're expecting. I know I'm going too deep here. It's fine. Anyway, so the why is what needs to be clarified within you. And then when you take the trade, you will take it with confidence. And even if you get stopped out, you know you did the right thing. Okay? You know you did the right thing. Because sometimes you might take a trade, it might go in your way, it might go in your favor, but you did the wrong thing. Okay? And then you can take a trade, and then within you, you know you did everything right. And then the trade goes in your favor. That is satisfaction. That is the best. And even if you did everything right and it stops you out, it's even much better because you know you did the right and everything ticked the box. So there's no, I won't say fear, but you have this within your own self. You know that you did the right thing. You did not do the opposite of what you're meant to be doing. So your mind is at peace. At least I did the right thing and it stopped me out. Rather than, why did I do that? Did I do that? Okay. Okay. I hope you can hear me there. All right, let's continue. So yeah, let's wait for the dollar index to give us the confirmation during this New York session. Another trade that I was watching is dollar yen. Okay, dollar yen. From the weekly perspective, there's a high probability we'll be going down next week because we had this rejection. Okay, so same thing with what I just taught you. How is this today gonna close? Are we closing below so far? Yes. Okay, good. Is there a gap that is being left during the New York session? Not yet. Okay, not yet. But if it does, to me, we will attack this low, because this happened in London. This happened in New York. Which one? This one. They've gone through this one, which if we are bullish shouldn't have happened. They've gone through this auto block 2, which shouldn't have happened. So it's likely gonna be delivered below this low next week, or even probably today, maybe today, I don't know. Okay, so if we do place a gap in here, then you can do the same thing going into next week. Even if it forms one today, we've got an hour, about 28 minutes to go, 22 minutes to go. If it creates one, you can use that for a sell limit or a buy limit, and then execute. Just leave it over the weekend. This is when sometimes you can get a gap up or a gap down when the weekend opens. Okay, typical one is I think dollar index. Was it dollar index? Get a gap up. Okay, I think dollar index, something similar. I think it was yes. No, there's a pair that gapped up the next morning. Yes, dollar index here on Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday closed bullish above Monday. Tuesday closed bullish above Monday, and then this gap here that formed during the New York session, buy limit, and then boom, by the time we opened, price was already flying up. All right, so yes, you can actually, if we leave something like that today, you can sell it and then wait over the weekend, because the higher time frame narrative is looking for lower prices. There's a high probability that price will gap. When we open, it will gap down. So again, go and steady. Whenever there's a gap, when the market opens, you will see what I'm saying here, a signature of it. Okay, so crude oil, we're gonna be expecting continuation. ES, I'm expecting a continuation down here. Again, I would want to see a close below this low first. If we don't close below, then maybe not. We might stay in a consolidation. But if we close below, even if we do close below, sorry, if we don't close below, next week I'll be looking for price to attack this low and or that one. So you can wait for a close below a previous day's low, and then you look for a sell to come and attack these lows. I know there is a fair value gap here, but in my opinion, this whole move was manipulation. It was just being manipulated to come into this fair value gap on the weekly and then rejection, because we are diverging. Okay, we are diverging, and if you look at the YM did not make a higher high, that diverged, and then NQ also made a high. So this is a classic ICT I forgot the name, triad something, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's a classic one. So in my opinion, the gap here is not a true gap, it's manipulation. So this down candle might end up being a breaker. Okay, they're gonna break it and then it become a breaker for continuation to the downside. And that's my opinion. Okay, don't take it as the hardcore truth. It's my opinion. So, but it's a hard opinion. It's likely gonna happen. Just watch price action. Okay, let's go over to the crypto market. I don't really want to talk about it because we still have one day to go tomorrow. Then, but you can see, like, so far this week, price has done nothing, and it's typical. It's the end of the month, and they've left a gap here on purpose. I just spoke my Ghanaian language accent. This is a typical example of how price is fractal. Okay, so the same thing is happening here, right? Think this is a daily time frame. Let me say it again. Think this is a daily time frame, right? And then we've closed above it, and again, things in gap. So you're gonna place a buy limit here with your stop loss there and expect a continuation to the upside. Why? Because we closed above the previous candle. So don't think this is a monthly. Okay, think this is a daily, and the daily has confirmed that it wants to continue going up. So where is the low of the next candle's day likely gonna form? It's gonna form during the New York session. So this is London session, this is New York session, and this is the gap that was left during the New York session. All right, so you're gonna be placing your buy limit here with your stop loss below this candle's low, and then you're gonna expect expansion. So this will be London close for the day. So far we're not closed yet, but we are closing. We've got, in terms of the monthly, we've got one day, but in terms of the daily, you are in the London close time. So this is the London close time. So we are about to close, and then we're gonna open a new daily candle here, right? And that daily candle, since we did not close higher, because if we had closed higher, then it would have left something here. But since it's not closing higher, and it's not also taking out the high, like that. Come on, let me take this thing off. Since it's not closing and it's not going above this like this, and it's like that, that's even better. That's low resistance. So it's a high probability you'll find it easier to come back for this high. All right. So that's what the picture I was trying to paint in your head about this fair value gap. That the fact that they did not trade to it is high probability that next month candle is going to trade in there. And then the rest of the crypto market is going to follow that. So until Bitcoin opens, drops down, so meaning if we open next month and Bitcoin starts dropping, all the cryptos are going to drop, but they are going to be dropping on a manipulation basis. It's not a real drop. It's going to be a manipulation drop, and then eventually price will reverse and then go back up. So if you are interested in buying the cryptos, my advice is wait. Let the narrative that I've just given you here play out, and then you can look for that. Now, the first week of the month of June is critical as to what's going to happen. Why? Because we've had a consolidation, and then we displaced. So we might move into either a first area of accumulation, not either. That is what's happening. So we are moving into a first area of accumulation, but are they going to use one down candle, two down candles, or three down candles for the accumulation? That is the next question. So if it's going to be just one down candle, then next week will shoot up, and this will become the reaccumulation. If they are going to use two down candles, then next week will drop into this gap, and then the following week we'll start seeing the expansion. If they are going to use three down candles, which is the maximum sometimes they can use, then next week might be a doji candle, a small little down candle, and then the following week will be the drop into it, and then we reject, and then we go up. So that's the, if they're going to use three okay, apologize. I think I don't know, there's something weird happening to the computer. Anyway, we are back. Yeah, so if Bitcoin start going down, Solana will also do that, and it's actually started already. Hype will do that. It's already started already. XRP will do that. It's already started already. Then Tatsuo will also do that, which is already down there. So maybe this one might pause and then a rejection to go back up. And then finally Chachki, it's also attacking, already attacked it. Okay, they've attacked that. So we might also pause, accumulate, go sideways, and then reject and shoot up. All right. So that's the business for the crypto. So everything is hanging around almighty Bitcoin and what it's going to do next month. Okay. So that's pretty much it for now. Hopefully you got something out of today's session. Every day I'm dropping something to help you. So take it, use it, help yourself, help others. Let's all live as one in love. Peace. All right, take care, and I'll see you on Monday.